I'd like to call upon the subconscious, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Are you able to please do a body scan for the vehicle and tell me what is happening for her?
There's lots of toxins in her body. She needs to clear out her body by eating a lot better than what she has been. She's been emotionally eating, and it's crippling her.
Why has she been emotionally eating?
Her depression is creeping back a little bit, but it's going to be okay.
What is causing the depression?
She feels like she's incapable of succeeding with her spirituality. She feels like she's not progressing as well as she should be, but there is no target to meet. She can just pace herself. There's no expectations. She's creating the expectations in her mind.
So in reality, subconscious, from your perspective, how is her spirituality journey going?
It's progressing as quickly and as slowly as it's supposed to be. It takes time, but she feels like she has to rush, and it's overwhelmed her because she wants to do it faster.
Why does she feel like she needs to do it faster?
She wants to be able to find her ability and be able to use it, but she can't hurry that along. So just pace and things will happen for her as they are meant to. They won't happen any sooner than they meant to. It's not something you can rush. Just a little bit each day.
Mm-hmm. Subconscious, do you think that her worrying about this is actually limiting her versus if she sort of stopped having this judgment on self, she could expand easier? What?
Yeah, she needs to stop worrying about not doing it fast enough. She feels like she's not awakened, but she is. It's that goes back to that belief in self. she does love herself more, and that's where the most important thing begins, is with self-love. And we are very happy that that's improved, but she also needs to stop worrying. Just relax.
Now that she hears that and understands that, can you advise me of whether that depression she was feeling will be lifted and released now?
We will guide her to, it's like we're showing her a window and we're opening up the window. And we want the worries and concerns to blow out the window. They are not for her. There's no justification for holding on to them. We want her to release. And we're just releasing that now.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, subconscious. Is there anything else that's happening in her body that you can assist her to have today as we are seeking balance and harmony?
The food intake needs to improve, and it will now that we have started to release the worries, because that saying, you are what you eat. Well, she's eating comfort food, which is creating toxins in her body. Well, it's putting toxins in her body, which is creating a it's like creating a negative aura around her body, and that's where her hip pain is really centered. So every time or every day that it gets worse, the pain gets worse. It's just her body, it's telling her to clean up her diet. And the meat that she's eating, and she's eating the meat because her dad has purchased a lot of really good quality meat that where he works, and she feels like she has to eat it because it's there, and it was a gift from her dad. But she can't, her body actually can't take that anymore, because she has spiritually, she's above and beyond the need of red meat, any meat, really. So she needs to stop eating that which is causing her it's causing her pain, but spiritually wise, it's creating a block between her mind and us. When I say us, I say her subconscious, her higher self, and the communication between her mind and her guides. It's like when you cook something fatty and you get that grease that's left over in the pan. That grease is the blockage. It's creating the blockage. So we just want her to stop eating the meat and the chocolate and anything else that she thinks is making her feel better, because we're trying to get through to her, and we can't when those blocks are in place.
Okay.
And drink more water.
How much water does she need to drink per day?
It's a minimum of 2 liters, but we really want her to drink more. She's feeding the water to her plants, and she needs it for her body as well. We want her to get a really big drink bottle so she can monitor herself. That's the best way. Otherwise, she doesn't know how many glasses she's drinking throughout the day because there's no accountability. And the accountability isn't a bad thing. It's just a way for her to make sure that she's giving her body what she needs.
Thank you so much. Okay, is there anything else you would like us to know about her body?
We want her to visualize daily just her body lifting off the ground and just floating through the air, because that will help her to lift those worries and concerns.
I love that. Thank you so much, subconscious. Okay, so are we able to continue on and ask the questions for this session?
Yes, we would like to work on her hip.
Oh, yes. Yes, please. Can you be able to work on her body completely, releasing all that no longer serves her and balance her completely in all of her physical systems and energetic systems as you see fit?
Thank you, yes.
Oh, thank you. Okay, subconscious, out of curiosity, what dimension are you in?
We are in the 6th.
Thank you so much. And from your perspective, subconscious, in terms of the shift, what does shifting to 5D mean for humanity?
Like it's like a snake shedding its skin, or a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. When we shift, we leave the shell and we move out of that shell. We transcend into a higher and better version of ourselves. Imagine your body is laying still on the bed. As the shift occurs, the body stays there, but our soul lifts and continues living, but in a better, higher, more stable and loving version of the earth that we know it now. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Is there anything else you'd like us to know about this shift for humanity?
Humanity needs to realize what they're living now. It is such a trap, and there are forces that are trying to keep the masses down in the 3D consciousness, to keep themselves wealthy and powerful and in charge. They are afraid of losing that power because they are so used to it. It's all they know. But humanity needs to move away from that. It can't last forever, but it needs to happen sooner rather than later, because the planet is, it's self-shifting. It's peeling away the negativity, and we want everyone to, or as many people, to lift with the new earth, which at the moment looks like a hologram, the way we're sort of showing her. It's like a hologram peeling away, and it's like a magnet. It's trying to bring as many people as possible with it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I know these are broad questions, so thank you. And then can you tell me about Gaia's contract to shift to the fifth dimension? What would you like us to understand about that?
So we're just showing her Gaia as a female energy, and she's hovering away from Earth, facing Earth, but she's holding on to this hologram that we mentioned before, helping it peel away from this Earth. And she's just getting ready to place herself within the new Earth. But she is watching. She's watching from the outside, but attached to both, barely. It's like her fingertips are just touching both, and she's transitioning out of one and getting ready to go into the other. But it's just her fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
We all want as many people as possible to join the new Earth. And it's happening. It's slowly happening. There's more and more people awakening. But the word trigger, we're just showing her the word trigger. There needs to be a trigger because we just need more people to awaken.
And when more people awaken, what will happen then?
The old Earth will be left to its own devices. It's would you like us to see what's actually happening around the Earth as the shift progresses? Is that what you want us to see and tell you about?
Yeah, you're very clever, because the very next question is about what is the term old Earth referring to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the old Earth will be like dusty old furniture, still there, but it will be quite useless. It won't be completely unusable, but it'll be useless for the future. We don't see much happening on the old Earth once we all shift our consciousness and our bodies into the new Earth. The new Earth will be vibrant and quite energized. But the old earth is, it'll be rendered useless. There will be parts of it that can see lava and I guess I can see like lava cooling off. And then the majority of the earth is just dusty, unusable, livable, but not vibrant, not healthy, and won't last for long. Whereas the new earth, as it peels away, it distances itself from the old earth. So if I put myself on the new earth, I can slowly see the old earth just moving away slowly. But if we put ourselves back onto the old earth, we can see the new earth again moving away. But it's very energetic. It's buzzing, I think is the word we'll use. It's buzzing with energy. So yeah, the old earth is very dense, very dark. Like it looks like it's in just permanent shadow. There's no light. There's no life. It's the planet itself is very lifeless. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. Would there be an event to take place that would then create us to label this planet old Earth?
There will be many. There will be many. It will be, there won't be one big event. It'll be one event that causes a domino effect. But it will feel, I guess it will feel like one event, but it will actually be many that will create that domino effect. I can see dominoes falling around the globe.
Thank you. Okay. And so, from your perspective, subconscious, what could some of the life lessons be for people wanting to experience the old Earth?
I'm sorry, can you ask that again?
Yes, I can. Could you give us, from your perspective, please, subconscious, some of the life lessons people would experience for the old Earth?
We would like everyone to learn to forgive, because a lot of the contracts have to do with past lives and things that have happened in past lives. And we see a lot of people stuck or trapped on this earth who need to forgive those who have done the wrong thing to them. We will use examples. So if, let's say in this lifetime, your mother, who was a brother in the past lifetime, had murdered you in the past lifetime, and you have both come back in this lifetime to learn about forgiveness, learn about love, and learn to live with each other in a loving, peaceful way, then that is what you need to learn, love and forgiveness. And a lot of people are refusing to move on with love and with forgiveness, and they're holding on to that hate, that negativity, and they're refusing to release it. And we really, really need people to step into the light, and the light resembles the love and the future. We want people to turn their backs on the past. And when they turn their back on the past, it means that they are willing to move forward and step into the light and hold hands with the person that is causing the pain or had caused the pain. Hold their hand and help them step into the light, because they're also struggling to see that the past is in the past and the future just holds so much more than that hate and the negativity that they are holding on to. And it will help others see that they can do it too. If we can do it, they can do it. And if we take the first step, then the other person might take the next step. And then the future steps can be taken together. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's all great information and perspectives to be able to consider and understand and put into place. So thank you. Thank you very much. Is there anything else you'd like us to know about the old earth?
The old earth has so much healing to do. And it's not going to heal whilst we're still on here.
Okay, thank you. Subconscious, can you tell me what New Earth is?
It is a spiritual being that encompasses our abilities. It is love. It is like heaven. If you could imagine heaven, what heaven means for us as individuals and as a collective, and what we were raised to believe heaven is, that's the new earth.
Okay. What else can you tell me about the New Earth? How would you describe it?
It is not a solid thing like the old earth.
Okay. In terms of is it in terms of location between the New Earth and the Old Earth? What can you tell me about that?
It's like we mentioned before, it's peeling away from the old earth. It's in another dimension. But Gaia is holding on to both. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. In terms of the event, the expansive I don't even know. In terms of what we would perceive as the universe, is it very vast from your perspective in terms of different locations, or how can we understand?
Are you asking if it's physically in a different location?
Mm-hmm.
Physically, it's right here because it's still detaching itself.
Are you talking about the soul of the planet, or?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, as in its solid form, it is not in our solar system.
The new Earth?
The new Earth.
Mm-hmm. So I know we can't really understand or conceive time and space, but am I to understand that the new Earth is not physically here on this Earth?
No.
Okay. How else could you describe?
It's removing itself. It's completely removing itself.
Mm-hmm.
This planet has been destroyed to the point where it's not usable and it can only be healed if it's left alone over many millions of years. And so the new Earth has to shift into something completely different and to somewhere completely different. The way to get there is through spirituality, hence the spiritual detachment of old Earth and new Earth, and our bodies and our spiritual bodies.
And so how do people shift? How can you help us understand that?
It's like the snake skin. Our bodies will be left here, and our consciousness will shift to the new Earth. So we're just seeing bodies left behind, the physical bodies. They're just the outer layer, and our consciousness, our souls, rising away from the earth constantly. Like a constant, a continuation of people in their spiritual form leaving the earth. and they're going into the light, which takes them to the new earth, if they wish to. So it's like a portal. The light is like a portal to the new earth, if that makes sense.
And where is this portal?
It's in the sky. It's about the same distance from the earth as the moon.
And will people see it or sense it?
They will be drawn to it. It's like a magnet. But there are some people that are kind of, they're just before they get to the light, they peel away and they go to other places.
Thank you so much. So, you've just said that we will leave our current bodies behind. And from my understanding, we would call the current bodies we're in carbon-based bodies. So the new bodies we get, what can you tell me about that?
They will be, I guess we can compare it to a ghost. It will be in that form where we are physically here on the old earth, able to leave, but we don't have a physical body such as the one that we have now, because we won't need it.
Can you tell me more about the new bodies and what they would appear like, or how would they feel?
You can see them glowing. But they are a little bit translucent as well. But it's only for a period of time, because there is a transition at some point. It's a transition depending on what level of consciousness we're at. And it depends on what choices we make. So we can choose to have the bodies that we had when we left, or our original bodies, depending on where we came from. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds very valid. It's still just, we're very curious to know what certain bodies will look like, but I guess it's one of those things that we have to wait and see.
It will not be like anything that you have experienced here on this earth.
Okay, thank you. And out of curiosity, can someone take a carbon-based body to the new earth?
No. We can't travel through space with these bodies physically.
Okay, thank you. Are you able, please, to give the vehicle a sense of being on the new earth now? And are you able to tell us what she is sensing as she is arriving on the new earth?
Okay, just give us a minute. It's feels very weird. Her body is actually the sensation she's got right now is that she's being spun around really fast and she's dizzy. Just give us a minute. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we don't want to make you feel ill subconscious. Are you able to just give her the senses of the feeling of New Earth?
Okay. It's very still, like no wind. Um,
I'd like to call upon the subconscious, please.
yeah, we're still here.
Thank you so much. Are you able to give her the sense of what it will feel like for her to arrive on the New Earth?
It will feel empty at first. It's hard to say. It's hard to say at the moment, but she will feel like she's got work to do. We are involved in helping people to transition onto the new earth. So for her in particular, it'll feel in a good way, like she's going to work, but like we said, it's in a good way. It's pleasurable.
Okay. And what are her senses with the feelings of that fifth dimension?
Positive, good. Like ambitious and happy that finally we can start the process of bringing people on by the masses, because there's people already there when she arrives, but it's not it's not the masses, you know. So to answer your question, it feels rather empty and dark because it's hidden at the time. But once the masses start arriving, everything will be bright and beautiful as she has seen it before.
Okay, thank you. So if you could give her a sense of later within the experience of the new earth, what will she notice when it's more established?
It'll be busy, but it'll be so much different to the old earth. So to try and explain, we'll do it by comparing the happiness and the joy. Imagine you are on holidays with your family. Let's say you're at the beach and you're relaxing and your kids are around you and everyone's happy, just enjoying yourselves, and the smell in the air is fresh and clean. That is kind of what it's going to be like for everyone on the new earth. There's no rush. There's no sense of, if someone steps in front of you and you get frustrated. There's none of that. It's just everyone living with each other and putting up with each other in a positive way. There's no negativity. Does that answer your question?
Thank you so much. And out of curiosity, subconscious, there's many people talking about the new earth being here and that they're already on the new earth and that they are in the fifth dimension. Where are they getting this information from?
It's a misunderstanding. It's a misguided misunderstanding. To get to the new earth, the physical body has to so-called die, and our spiritual bodies move on. They continue living. It's a continuation. There is no death in the spiritual body. But for our spiritual bodies to be able to get to the new earth, we physically need to awaken our soul. So we need to have an understanding here now that we're trying to find the words. There needs to be an awakening on this earth. Each individual needs to awaken to the knowing and understanding of what happens to us when our body dies. We need to also prepare our 5D bodies for the transition. So that's where we need to understand that we need to get away from the negativity, the politics, the black versus white, the food that we put into our bodies, they are designed to keep us feeling low. That's depression, that's anxiety. We need to move away from that and connect with ourselves spiritually. So meditation, raw, fresh food, you know, heal our past lives. So if you have karma attached to you, and that's the example we used earlier, where if you were killed by, say, your sister in a past life, and that sister in your past life is now your mother, you need to heal that relationship. That will help the transitioning of the 3D into the 5D. And the more of that we can heal and live by now, the faster you will be able to move into the 5D. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. So, the shifts then, do they, the events that occur, do they not help us shift to the 5D? We must do it individually?
They can help if you are ready at the time of the event. Essentially, we are all preparing for the event. Our event. My event is not necessarily someone else's event. So when my event happens and I have spiritually prepared myself for it, yes, I can go to the 5D. If I haven't prepared myself, then I will go into what we call a ship. It is the in-between. And I can complete that transition and go to the 5D from there. There are people who will refuse to, this is very complicated. There are some people who will refuse to shift and will also refuse to go to the ship to help them transition to the 5D Earth. Those people will stay on the 3D as long as they refuse to budge, if that makes sense. There is so much more to it that we lack the vocabulary to explain, but in a nutshell, that's the rule of thumb. If you haven't spiritually prepared yourself, there is the option of either staying or going to the ships where you can continue the transition. But if you have prepared yourself, if you are awakened, and when we say awakened, we mean the understanding that you are ready, willing, and want to go to the 5D, you can go there. It's like religion. When people believe in heaven and hell and all that in between, if they believe that when they die, they go to heaven, that is kind of them ready for death and willing to die and happy to die in their physical form because they know that they are going somewhere that they want to go. So when you have people here on earth who say, no, there is no such thing as 5D, there is no such thing as heaven, there is no such thing as a transition to the 5D, well, they are leaving themselves attached to the 3D, to the lower vibration, and therefore they are stuck. But the event that will happen to that person, and it will happen, it's inevitable, in that moment in time, they will have to make the choice of either staying in their non-physical form here on the 3D until they are ready to move on, or they can go onto the ship. Most people will, who are in that sort of that situation where they have to make a choice of, what do you want to do? Are you ready yet? Or do you want to stay here? The majority will go to the ships. But more and more people are awakening, and therefore they won't need to make that choice. They will just naturally be magnetized to the light that we showed her before and that we described to you before. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yeah, it's all very fascinating. Thank you so much.
It is extremely complicated. It's such a different thing from anything that you can imagine. And the descriptive words that we have here in front of us to use do not come close to describing what it is that is actually going to take place. And we can't tell you exactly when everything is going to happen and how it's going to happen. We can only give you the idea of it will happen soon and it will kind of look like this. Does that make sense?
Thank you. In terms of you stating it will happen soon, what sort of reference point is soon?
There are many things happening right now on Earth that we cannot reveal to the vessel or potentially anyone's ears that may come across this recording. So we will say that there are things happening right now that need to go ahead and happen for more people to awaken. Does that make sense? Before the shift and the domino effect can take place. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
We understand that there are people who are feeling like they're sitting on the edge, just waiting for the word go so they can jump off this planet. But there needs to be more people really ready and willing to do that before we can go ahead with anything further.
Mm-hmm. What can we do to help assist those people to be more ready?
Again, there are things that are going to happen. There are things that are taking place now that are helping those people. There is nothing other than what you and many other people are doing now that can help force anyone awake. People are coming across YouTube videos and information in their own way that is helping them awaken. People are being triggered, and it's those triggers that are causing those people to come across information that is helping them awaken. And every day there are more and more people. It's like light bulbs are turning on all over the place above people's heads, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Getting epiphanies.
That's right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to let more of that happen. And it's happening so much faster. It's happening so much easier that those low vibrational people that are trying to prevent it from happening are starting to panic. We can see them pushing the panic buttons because we are going to experience something amazing and they're going to lose power. But we just need to wait a bit more.
Mm-hmm. So it truly is up to individuals who are here on this planet to step up, raise their vibrations and be of service.
Yes, but they can't be forced. We all just need to be patient. They will awaken at their own pace. But like we said, it's happening so much faster by the masses already. But we just need more. There's billions and billions of people on this planet. And millions are awakening every day. But millions is still taking a while. So we just need to be patient and enjoy what it is on earth that you have now, because it's going to be different when we get there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. But it's not going to be different in a bad way. It's just going to be quite profoundly different. So
it's going to be amazing. It's just nothing like we have experienced here on earth.
Thank you so much. Is there any final messages you would like us to know?
Don't get frustrated. Not just you, but people. Don't get frustrated waiting, because the frustration is causing people to forget what it is that they're here to do. The shift will happen when it will happen. Just enjoy your experiences now. And for those holding on to karma, they need to release it.
Yeah.
There's nothing further.
Okay, thank you. And while we can accept everyone's on their own journey and pace, those people who are still refusing to look at the inner work when they've been almost told about it daily, us having patience and tolerance and understanding and compassionate love towards them, while not disempowering them or enabling them, it becomes quite challenging to know the difference and how to support people the most when they're not wanting to even support themselves.
Put it this way, the only time we can shake someone awake, well, we can't, but the only time someone can be shaken awake is when tragedy strikes. You have people talking about their life and death experiences after a bad accident. And when they come back, they talk about that experience and they become very spiritual, very open-minded and a different person, physical person. And some people will need that tragedy or some sort of trigger to happen for them to awaken, and that's okay. Some people will have a simple near-death experience where they're about to cross the road and a car almost hits them. And that is a trigger that they will have. Some people will see a video on YouTube and that will be a trigger. And some people will simply hear a sentence, perhaps in the background or in a YouTube video that they watch, or something that they see, and that will be their trigger. Everyone will have different triggers, but they will have them. We just need to be patient and let them experience that at their own pace.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.